Hey, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, welcome, glad you're here, hope you stay. Today's video is a long overdue empties video. I have been saving my empties since January. I had the intention of doing quarterly update videos on like project pan, favorites, fails, new purchases, empties, declutters, that kind of stuff. But for whatever reason, in my head, it was all going to fit into one video, and it turns out that's not how it works. So this is the first video of my quarterly update series, I guess, and it will be focusing solely on empties and declutters, because if I include everything that I had originally planned on in one video, it would be multiple hours long. I have everything broken up into categories, so I've got makeup, skincare, body care, hair care, and lifestyle. I'll have everything that I can list down below in the description box, as well as detailed timestamps so that you can always skip ahead. And I think with all of that out of the way, we can get into the video. Starting with makeup, I'm going to go over what I'm decluttering, and then I'll get into what I've emptied. The first product that I'm going to be decluttering is the bareminerals Complexion Rescue Hydrating Foundation Stick in the shade Opal 01. I had this in my project pan and I was really excited to use it up, but because it has SPF in it, it does have an expiration date, and that was February of this year. And even though I tried working my way through some of the product that I had left in January, there was a distinct difference in how the formula was performing, and it was just time to let it go. I do wholeheartedly recommend that you get rid of anything that is well past expired. We all know that powder products pretty much last forever, but cream products do go off around their expiration date, and sometimes sooner. The next product that I am decluttering is the NARS Climax Mascara. I believe this is just the regular Climax, not the Extreme. Anyway, I wanted to finish this up because it's a mini, and minis are pretty easy to finish up, but this was one of the worst mascaras that I've ever used. It's just not worth my time to continue trying to make it work. It made my lashes very spidery, it was very flaky, it was mildly irritating by the end of the night. It's just not worth trying to make it work for me. Moving on to makeup, which is always my favorite empties category in videos that I'm watching because I love seeing what makeup people use up. I do have a surprising amount of makeup empties, at least surprising to me. This is usually my smallest category. The first makeup items that I want to talk about are kind of a cheat, and they are a pair of primers. The first is the First Aid Beauty Ultra Repair Hyaluronic Hydrating Primer and the Becca First Light Priming Filter. I use these two primers together to make my perfect primer. So I did take my two tubes and I combined them into an airless pump so that I can always just have the perfect amount of primer whenever I want to pump that out. So I am counting these two as empties because I want to get rid of their containers, though it's a cheat item because I still have the products. I still have the product that was inside the tubes in a different container. That container, though, is a problem for another day. Right now, all I care about is getting rid of these. An actual primer that I finished up is the Natasha Denona Face Glow Primer Hydrating Underbase. I had originally bought this one thinking that it would be a dupe or very similar to the Ultra Repair Hyaluronic Hydrating Primer from First Aid Beauty. And if you've been around here for a while, you'll know that the First Aid Beauty is my #1 favorite primer, and I recommend it to anyone all the time. And I was looking for a dupe product just to have something similar to recommend if for whatever reason someone doesn't like that primer. It's always kind of good to know what products are on the market. And I had thought that these two would be similar, but when I started using them and I compared the ingredients and stuff like that, they are so different. And this one is way more expensive than the First Aid Beauty one, so even if they had been more similar, I would never have recommended this one because it's like $15 more expensive. Anyway, I finished the entire jar, really proud of myself for that. It was okay, not something I would repurchase, and it's something I forgot was even in my empties, so it's something that I don't even think about or remember having used, really. My next empty is the MAC Strobe Cream in the shade Pink Light. I do have the mini version of that. This was originally in my project pan, so I'm very proud to say that I have finished it up. I will not be repurchasing the Strobe Cream. I know that a lot of people are raving about it all the time. I just didn't notice anything super special about it. and I found myself having to really fight my way through the tube. I ended up mixing it with one of my body lotions just so that I could apply it to a larger area and get rid of it faster. I'm sure that the people who love it have a good reason to love it. This is just not something that I find very remarkable or very exciting in the least bit, and I am just really happy to have it be gone out of my life now. I finished up a mini Too Faced Hangover RX Replenishing Face Primer. I got this originally in a kit from Ulta. I know I've mentioned in another video that I don't support Too Faced, but I am including this in here because it is an empty. I did use it up, and I just want to say that if you're someone who supports Too Faced, this is a really good primer, and you probably won't be disappointed in the product whatsoever. It's very nourishing, it's very hydrating. As a moisturizer, it works really well as a primer. I'm just really sad that this is a Too Faced product because alternatively, I would have been really happy to use this. I finished up my mini Marc Jacobs Finish Line Perfecting Coconut Setting Powder. I have had this for such a long time. I tried to get out the little itty bitty amount that's left, and it's really just not worth it for all of the effort to get out whatever's remaining in there. But I'm just glad. There seems to be a theme among my empties that I'm just glad that they're gone. I do tend to hoard products and work my way through them from beginning to finish, even if they're products that I end up fighting my way through. So at the end, I always seem to just want them out of my life. But this one too, I just didn't see a big difference when I was using it. Now, I'm not really a loose setting powder person to begin with, so that may have been the downfall from the very beginning, that I didn't love this product. I just don't think that it did a very good job. Under my eyes, it looked very crepey, very drying, and on my face, I feel like it looked very yellow. But whatever, it's done, it's over. I'm just glad that it's gone, and I can move on to the other powders that are in my collection. I finished up my L'Oreal Voluminous Primer Base, and I really like this product. I have it now on my wish list on Ulta for the full size, but I have a couple of other lash primers that I have to work through before I go and repurchase this one. But I love what this did for my lashes, and I'm so sad that I finished this because I do notice a really big difference from when I am wearing this to wearing no lash primer to wearing the other lash primers that I have. If you are looking for a very voluminous lash primer, this L'Oreal one is exactly what you're looking for. I finished up a mini of the Kosas Big Clean Mascara. I like it. I like the wand more than the formula. I think that the curved wand is something that really helped coat my lashes very well. And I do have more minis of this formula in my backup drawer, but I have quite a few mascaras to get through before I start going through that drawer. But I am looking forward to using this one again. I really like the wand. The formula was okay. It wasn't the most long-wearing formula, but when it was wearing, my lashes looked really good. I finished off my MAC Prep and Prime lip pen, I guess. I have had this for a while. I know that there's some people who really love this and some people who don't see any kind of benefit from it whatsoever. I am somewhere in the middle. I liked it when I remembered to use it, but it wasn't the first lip prepping product that I reached for, so it was kind of hard to get through because I never remembered to use it. But when I would use it, it made my lips look really nice. It's moderately plumping. I do think that there's a slight difference when I use this over some other lip balms, but it's not enough to make me repurchase this. I do already have a backup of this. It came in a MAC set at one point, so I will eventually have another one to go through, but this is not something that I would repurchase on its own. I very sadly went through my Bite Beauty Agave Lip Mask. I tried really hard to savor this because I know that they're not replacing this with the old formula, and it's been reformulated with a vegan formula and it's not the same. So I really cherished every last bit of this that I possibly could, and I'm going to be really sad without it, and it's okay because there's plenty of other lip products on the market. My most exciting makeup empty is the Kosas Wet Lip Oil Gloss in the shade Jellyfish. I used this for far longer than I should have, but I wanted to get out every last drop that I could to the point that this was no longer the color it was supposed to be, but it's empty. I scraped out every bit that I could. I've kept it upside down. I've kept it on its side. There's no possible way for me. Oh, I took out the stopper even. There is no possible way for me to get any more product out of this tube. This is one of the most satisfying empties that I have ever gone through, but I do already have a backup of this one on hand in case of emergencies. Moving on to skincare, I'm going to start with the declutters and then move on to the empties. First, I am decluttering the Voluminous Papaya Enzyme Peel. This works really well if you're looking for a peel, but I've had this for way too long. According to the packaging, it expires 6 months after you've opened it, and I've had this for over 2 years, and I've probably used it a handful of times in all of that time. I'm just not one that uses this kind of exfoliation technique very often anyway, obviously. So I am going to get rid of it because right now it's just taking up room in the skincare cabinet. The other thing that I am decluttering is the Dr. Brandt Needles No More, No More Baggage Eye Depuffing Gel. I'm really sad to let this one go because it works. Unfortunately, this one works really well, and I wish that there was a way that I could continue to use it. But even though it does a great job at depuffing my eyes, but also plumping up the area to get rid of that distinguishing line between where my cheeks start and where my eyes end because of having deep set hollow under eyes, this just does not wear under makeup. I don't really mind my issue with my eyes when I'm not wearing makeup because I'm wearing my glasses, and when I'm wearing my glasses you can't really tell that my under eyes have that issue. But if I have makeup on, it's usually because I have my contacts in and I can't use my glasses to hide my under eyes, so I need products that work underneath makeup, and this is just not one of them, and I've had this too for a really long time. This does say that it's only good for 12 months. It's been well over 2 years since I've been using this product, so it is time to let it go. Going through skincare, I'm not going to go in any particular order. It's going to kind of just be whatever I grab out of the pile and moving on from that. The first product that I'm going to talk about is the Summer Fridays Jet Lag Mask. I finished 2 of them. I actually had 2 open at the same time, and I don't remember which one at this point, but one of them was really good at being an overnight mask, and the other one had some kind of batch issue, so I didn't use that one as it was intended as a mask. I would use it as a primer before putting on makeup, especially during the winter when my skin was really dry, and it worked really well. So once Summer Fridays brings this product back, I am wholeheartedly getting at least one of them. I finally finished my Volition Beauty Prismatic Luminizing Shield SPF 50. I am so happy. This is another one of those very satisfying products to finish up because it felt like it just lasted forever. And that's really great until you get to the point where it's like, oh my god, why won't you just die? This was a really good SPF. I did really like it underneath makeup. I never had any issues with it. It was never pilling. It never separated. It never broke down any kind of makeup. So I know some people didn't like it because they feel like it was really reflective and it made them look like a disco ball. I never felt that way with this one. So I don't know if it was how they paired different products with this, but I never felt like a disco ball. And if I didn't already have 70 billion other SPFs to go through right now, I would very much repurchase this one. Next up is the Inkey List Caffeine Eye Cream. I've repurchased this a few times, but when I was working my way through this container, I stopped seeing results. So I don't know if this is one of those products where you see results in the beginning and after continued use, it just doesn't continue to progress with your results and you just kind of hit a stagnant area and that's it. But I stopped seeing results, so I stopped repurchasing this one. I've moved on to better eye creams where I am still seeing continuous results after continuous usage. So this one was really good for the first couple of tubes, but after that, it just stopped working. Oh, I guess I should have included this one with the makeup, but I have the Sephora Vanilla Lip Balm. This one was okay. It was an impulse buy or like a cart filler so that I could get whatever gift with purchase was going on at the time that I bought this. I didn't hate this one. I don't think that it was a good overnight mask like it's supposed to be, but it was good during the day. It's just not something I would repurchase. There are much better lip balms, lip hydrators out there. And the vanilla scent and flavor wasn't a good vanilla scent and flavor. It was very manufactured. I finished up the Vasanti Brighten Up Enzymatic Face Rejuvenator. It took me a really long time to get through this one. Again, one of those products that just wouldn't die. It's like, I keep running into those. I don't know why. I used this 3 times a week, and it still took forever to get through it. I'm so glad that it's over. I really like this. I know it doesn't sound like it, but I do really like this product. And once I get through some other exfoliators, I very much plan on repurchasing this. It is very similar to the Kate Somerville Exfoliate that I love so much. I just feel like this one might do a better job, but I can't use it as consistently or as often as I could use the Exfoliate. That one is a little more gentle than this. Before, I was just trying to use it up. I would use it in really dire situations where my face really needed this kind of attention, because it can be very harsh if you overuse it. But in the end, I ended up mixing it with other body washes and started using it as an all-over body exfoliator as well, because I was at the point where I just really needed to move on. I finished up the Herbivore Brighten Mask. This one was okay. I didn't notice any kind of long-term, long-lasting results. I didn't have a good enough time with it in the mini to repurchase at the full size, and I actually forgot that I even had this in the container. It was so unremarkable to me. I finally finished the Pharmacy Honey Grail Ultra Hydrating Face Oil. I got this in a set originally with a few other full-size products, and I love Pharmacy. They're one of the brands that can do no wrong, to me anyway. I've tried so many of their products and get along well with so many things that they offer, and this was so far the only disappointing or unremarkable product that I've tried from them. I am not really a face oil person overall, so that again may be an issue as to why I didn't enjoy this product as much as someone else may enjoy it. But I did find that I loved adding a few drops of this into my bath. I don't take baths often anymore, but when I do, or when I did, because it's been a while, I would just do like a full dropper's worth, which isn't very much because it's a mini, and I would just put it into the bath water, and my skin felt amazing. I wouldn't be upset for this to be in another kit that I purchased from Pharmacy, because now that I know how good it works in the bath, I would absolutely use this again. But for my face, it was just way too oily, and I didn't feel like it ever really penetrated into my face or into my skin as a hydration layer. It always just felt like it was slipping and sliding all over my skin. I finished up another Ultra Repair Wild Oat Hydrating Toner from First Aid Beauty. I say another because I don't know how often I talk about this here. I have empties of this 2 or 3 times a year. I go through this nonstop. It's my favorite hydrating toner. It's my favorite toner overall. I use this every day in my morning and nighttime skincare routines. I have recommended this so many times on Instagram and in other YouTube videos. I think that every person should have this in their skincare lineup. It is phenomenal. It just completely changes your face. I know that's so weird to say, but it completely gets rid of pores, it gets rid of texture. It's so hydrating from the second that it touches your skin, and it's so easy to put on because all you do is pat it in with your hands. You squirt a little into your hands and you pat, pat, pat all over your face, and there you go. There's the application. There's no waste associated with this. It is such a good product, and I think everyone should check it out. I have another empty of the Inky List Peptide Moisturizer alongside the First Aid Beauty Hydrating Toner. This is one that I always recommend, and I go through pretty consistently throughout the year. I usually have 2 or 3, maybe more of these emptied, and I really do think this is one of the best peptide moisturizers that I've ever used. I have tried other peptide creams from like Kate Somerville and Skin Fix and Drunk Elephant, but none of them compare to how amazing the Inky List is. I've used this, I think, since it came to Sephora, and I've never been disappointed. It's so lightweight, it's fast absorbing, it's non-greasy. I use this in the morning and at night. I love this in the morning especially because it wears so well underneath makeup. I never experience any kind of pilling or breaking down or separating or anything like that. Once it absorbs into the skin, you don't feel it after that. It's not something that you're going to touch your face and feel like an extra layer on top of. It does really just melt right into the skin. I finished up a mini of the Tatcha Dewy Skin Cream. I really like this, and if it wasn't so expensive, I would repurchase it. And normally price isn't really a factor in determining whether or not I'm going to buy something or repurchase something, but there are so many alternatives at a less expensive price point that I just can't justify the price to buy this one. If I were to find it on sale for more than 20% off, I would definitely repurchase this because it is a really good product. I just can't personally justify the price when I have so many products that perform similarly to this one. I finished off a teeny tiny little La Mer. I got this as a sample with a purchase that I made from Blue Mercury, and I finally made my way through it. It was heavily scented and not in a good way. I did not enjoy this at all. The product itself was good, but you only get like 2 uses out of this. And I don't know how you're really supposed to determine if you like something after only 2 uses, if that, out of this little tube. And for how expensive the full size is, after only being able to use it like 2 times, how are you supposed to determine whether or not you saw any benefit? It just drives me crazy how small that sample size is. So I don't think I noticed a difference, and I don't think there's any way that I would ever pay for a full size of La Mer anything. It's just so crazy expensive. I don't know, I hear such great things, but I don't think I could ever bring myself to buy anything from La Mer. I finished up the Kate Somerville Goat Milk Moisturizing Cream. I had this for a while. This one took a little while to go through. There was something about the texture, the consistency of the formula that I really just didn't mesh with. It was something that I kind of avoided using because I didn't like touching it. I ended up using it as more of a décolleté and neck moisturizer than I ended up using it on my face. But anything that you can do to get rid of the product, right? It worked really well. It was very nourishing. It's not something that I would ever repurchase again, though. I finished up a mini Reflect Hydrating Facial Cleansing Scrub. This is number 1 in their cleansing system. I was sent this one by the brand. I think that it's really good if you are someone who wants a 3-in-1 product. So it was a cleanser, an exfoliator, and it's meant to be a hydrating serum moisturizer. This is really good for what a 3-in-1 skincare product can be. I don't know if I've ever seen anything else that's similar to that on the market. I think that if you're someone who travels a lot, this would be something you would get a lot of benefit out of. As an exfoliator, it was a little too gentle than what I typically look for. But if I were in a position where I would be needing to be conscious of my travel bags or only having a small amount of items, having something like this that's a 3-in-1 would come in really handy. So if you're someone who was looking at the brand or wanted to check this out, it's a very good product. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. I think that you should be aware that when it says gentle exfoliator, it really does mean gentle. And if you are someone who travels a lot, I highly recommend checking out this kind of thing or checking out the brand overall and seeing if they have other products that might work well for you. I don't see myself repurchasing this anytime soon, but I do really like things that the brand offers, so I will very likely repurchase from the brand, but not this particular item. I finished up the Tatcha Dewy Serum. This was gifted to me. I really like this. I think I like this even more than the Dewy Moisturizer. I felt like this one was way more hydrating, way more effective. And when I would use this in the mornings, I would not need any additional kind of skincare, no more moisturizer, and no primer before makeup. This was so hydrating, and I'm very sad to see it go because it's very expensive. When I was talking about the Dewy Moisturizer, I had said that one was too expensive for me to repurchase because I have other items that work very similarly. I don't feel that way about this one. I do feel like I would pay the full price to repurchase this. I do have 1 or 2 more things that are in this category that I'm trying to finish up, but once I've finished up my hydrating serum type products, I definitely will be repurchasing this one, but hopefully during a sale. I finished up a mini Herbivore Rose Hibiscus Coconut Water Hydrating Face Mist. This is my favorite face mist. I love this one so much. I was so sad to finish it because it is so good and refreshing. I have a few other face mists that I'm trying to get through, but once I finish those up, I am definitely repurchasing this. One more Herbivore product, and it is the Phoenix Facial Oil. I mentioned previously that I am not a big fan of face oil. Same thing goes for this one. It was okay. It was unremarkable. I didn't see a lot of results. I also didn't use it very consistently though. So maybe if I had been using it on a more consistent basis, I would have seen results from it. But this was another one that I was kind of just fighting my way through. I didn't like how it sat on top of my skin, and in the mornings, I didn't like the way that my face felt because I would use this at night. It was just something that I can't imagine I would repurchase. This one I'm including because it's so close to empty, and I don't want to hold on to it once I do finish it up in like the next week or so. So this one is the Tower 28 SOS Daily Rescue Facial Spray. I got this because I heard that it's really good for eczema, and I've been using it on the eczema and it's just not working. I don't see a big difference, and I've been using this on like my maskne. I heard it's really good for maskne. Again, don't really see a difference. At this point, I'm just using it up to use it up, not because I think that it's working really well as a product overall. Some people this really works for, and I wish that I was one of those people that it worked really well for. This is a little on the expensive side for me not to see any kind of benefit from. I do wish that this was a product that would have ended up working out for me, because the people in the reviews who say that they've had such a drastic change, I'm very envious of you. So if you are someone, though, who has used this, can you tell me what it is that you're doing or how you found a way to make this work? Because maybe I'm just doing it wrong. But as it stands right now, this is not something that I would repurchase. Moving on to body care, I do have a few things to talk about. I finished up a Mercy Handy Hello Sunshine Love and Hand Cream. This one was gifted to me, and I really enjoyed this while I was using it. I do have 2 more hand creams to use, but if I were in a store that sold this and I was shopping, I would absolutely impulse buy this. It's not something that I would be considering to repurchase right now that it's empty sitting in front of me, but it is definitely one of those things that I think this is at Urban Outfitters. So I think if I was at Urban Outfitters, or if I was on the Urban Outfitters website and I was checking out and I saw this and it caught my eye, I would absolutely repurchase. It's very moisturizing, very hydrating on the hands. It was fast absorbing. It wasn't sticky or tacky. So I felt like my hands plumping up, my hands, being softer to the touch for long after I applied the cream, but I didn't feel any kind of residue from the cream. So it is something that I do highly recommend if you're looking for a good cream. This is kind of a cheat item because it's not fully empty yet, but it's going to be empty, and it is the Summer Fridays Summer Skin Nourishing Body Lotion. I bought this from the Summer Fridays website when they had it on sale for 20% off before the VIB sale at Sephora, and I used this one up so fast that I ended up repurchasing another one during the VIB sale at Sephora because I was running out of it so quickly. I really, really love this, and I really, really don't. I know it doesn't make sense, but the cream is really good. The scent is really good. But on dry areas of your skin, you use a lot of product. On not so dry areas, you can get away with a little bit of product. So for example, my triceps are really dry. When I'm putting the body lotion on my triceps, I get a lot of skipping and tugging and pulling in that area because my skin is so dry and tight there. So I need to use a lot of product to make that area more hydrated and nourished. So I ended up going through this very quickly, partly because I was overusing it, and I can acknowledge that I was overusing it. There's no reason I should have run through this in 2 weeks, but I did, and that's my mistake, and I will bear the fault of that. I do really like this. I see myself repurchasing this over and over again. I hope it never gets discontinued. I hope they come out with a self-tanner, like a self-tanning lotion with the same scent, because I would buy that right away. Lastly, I finished up the Sol de Janeiro Brazilian Foreplay Moisturizing Shower Cream Gel and a mini Sol de Janeiro Boom Boom Cream. I had a kit with the 2 of these, and they finished up pretty close to each other. I am someone who only uses the Boom Boom Cream for like special occasions for absolutely no reason. I think because it's also meant to be a tightening cream that I would reserve it for times where my legs would be out or my arms would be out, and I'd want to tighten up certain areas to look a little bit more snatched, if you will. It wasn't a cream that I enjoyed rubbing all over my body because it was one that I really preferred to keep in targeted areas. I've used the Coco Cabana cream, and that one I do like to use all over my body, but this one, my mindset was more so for special occasions. And with the Brazilian Foreplay Shower Gel, I really like this. I thought it did a really good job. I really liked using this as a bubble bath when I would take baths. I would squeeze it in there because then my body would smell like their signature scent, and that was really nice. This is not one that I see myself repurchasing. If I was gifted this like for Christmas or something, I would be really happy with it, but this is just not one of, I don't want to say it's a novelty product, but it's kind of a novelty product. It's expensive for what it is, and I think you're really just paying for the name, you're paying for the scent. As far as product goes, you can get a body wash anywhere at any price point. I don't know. I just don't see the point in paying for something like this when there are other options out there and you're just paying for it to be Sol de Janeiro and scented the way that it's scented. Moving on to hair care, I've only got a couple things to talk about. I finished up one bottle of the Clairon dry shampoo with oat milk, ultra gentle dark hair. Clairon makes my favorite dry shampoo. It doesn't specifically have to be this one, the ultra gentle dark hair version. Any of their dry shampoos are my favorite. I've got another one in a green can that I'm working my way through right now. But anytime I see Clairon dry shampoos on sale, I buy them. I think I have 2 or 3 more as backups because I go through dry shampoo pretty quickly. It doesn't seem like it because I only have one bottle here. I must have thrown some away, or maybe my husband threw some away before I had a chance to save them, because normally I have a lot more dry shampoo in these videos. But if you're looking for a dry shampoo, Clairon brand, you cannot go wrong with. I really like that dry shampoo because it works. I know that sounds like such a vague reason, but it really does. It soaks up the grease, it brushes through your hair really easily, it doesn't leave a white cast, it doesn't feel chalky or gritty, you don't have that residue left on your hands if you do touch your hair afterwards. It lasts forever. It works as a really good texturizing spray as well. It helps to add volume if you need to use it in that way. I have had just the most stellar results in my hair from using this brand versus using any of the other dry shampoos that I've used, which are many. I finished up the Briogeo Don't Despair Repair Honey Moisturizer Deep Conditioning Mask. This one was gifted to me. I really love Briogeo. I have great results when I use their hair care products, so I am a little bit sad to say that I did not enjoy this very much. I've used the original Don't Despair Repair Deep Conditioning Mask, and I love that one. I did not love this one. I don't know what the difference besides the honey is, but the packaging made it really hard to use, and there were times where I thought that this was empty, and I'd go to put it in the container, and all of a sudden it's like his whole head was filled with product all over again, even though I swear I had emptied it out the last time. So there's that. But it was okay. I know that some people really swear by this, and if you're someone who this works really well for, I'm really happy for you. I'm glad you found a product that works. This one just does not work for me, and I won't be repurchasing. I think it's limited edition. I know they brought it back just recently, but I think it's still limited edition. It's not one that I would repurchase or recommend. Lastly, in hair care, I finished a Verb Hydrating Conditioner. I have this as the set with the shampoo and a hydrating mask that I'm still working through, but I did finish the conditioner and I like it. I think it works really well. It's not my favorite conditioner, but it's at an affordable price point and I like the packaging. I think you get a lot of product. It works really well in conjunction with the Briogeo Deep Conditioning Mask. So I would usually use this one closer to my roots because the Briogeo Deep Conditioning Mask can really weigh my hair down because my hair is on the thinner, finer side. So I would use this closer to the roots, not all the way at my roots, but closer up to my roots, and then I would use the mask lower down on my hair. I do think that I would repurchase this once I'm done with the shampoo. Moving into my last category, which is lifestyle. I finished 3 bottles of supplements. I finished a Sundown non-GMO clean nutrition vitamin D3 gummies. I finished a Sports Research biotin, and I finished Spring Valley calcium. I love supplements. I am a big supporter in anyone needing to take supplements. I think that they're great. I know that in my diet personally, I don't get enough calcium, I don't get enough iron, I don't get enough vitamin D, but now that the sun's out, I'm getting more vitamin D. Long story short, I don't drink milk. It's not for any reason other than I'm crazy because it's white and I don't like to ingest things that are white, and I'm just going to leave it at that. So I take calcium supplements. I have another bottle in my cabinet already, and I take vitamin D supplements. I was gifted this particular bottle of vitamin D supplements. I like them. I think it's fun that they were different flavors. I am not really a gummy kind of person, so I do just prefer the normal pill that you swallow. So I won't repurchase for myself, but I have repurchased for my husband and daughter. They loved these when we had them before, so now they've got their own even bigger bottle of this that they're going through right now. And lastly, I finished the biotin. I am on and off with the biotin. I've heard that some people have really good results when they take it, and other people have the exact opposite effect when they take it. So when I was taking this consistently, I do think my hair grew faster, but when I went and saw my hairstylist last week, she ended up cutting off any noticeable amount of hair that I may have grown over the last year. So I'm not super sure that this did anything for me. And my nails, no, I don't know. I don't think I saw any huge drastic difference with taking that. So I think that if there is a supplement that I'm taking that has biotin in it, that's great, but I don't think that I would take a biotin supplement on its own again. As an aside about my hairstylist, her name is Victoria, and she is absolutely amazing. If you're in the Naperville area or the Chicagoland area, I highly recommend checking her out. I will have her information listed down below in the description box. She just does an amazing job every time I've seen her, which is, well, twice because pandemic things, but I love everything she does. She's got a wonderful Instagram page that you can check out and you can see her work. But we channeled my inner Jamie Genevieve to get this multicolored little spot right here. And I'm just so excited about it. She's amazing. Anyway, I'm going to keep moving on to talk about my empties, but definitely if you are around Chicago, check Victoria out. Next up, I finished 2 coffee protein drinks. I have vanilla latte and caramel from Click Active. These are the all-in-one coffee and protein drink mixes. These were the mini sizes, and I really like these. I didn't think there was any kind of weird aftertaste, and I love coffee and I love protein. I used to bodybuild in my younger years, and I love protein. I'm all about trying new protein powders, and especially mixing coffee and protein. This is one that I've been repurchasing over and over again for many years. I know that recently they revamped what they're offering, and I wasn't super thrilled with what they've replaced my original containers with, so I am using a different coffee protein right now, but these were really good when I had them. I haven't tried the new formula. I don't know if it's a new formula or just repackaging, rebranding. I don't remember seeing that they were going to make any changes, so like it was weird. And then they had recipes where you could make different kinds of drinks using their coffee protein, and I would go and check out recipes that I'd previously saved and they would be gone from the site entirely, so I really don't like that. Anyway, I changed to a new coffee protein. I think that one works really well. My lifestyle category was just 3 sections: supplements, protein, and now cold brew. I have 3 different cold brews to talk about, and the first one I'm going to mention is the Starbucks cold brew coffee concentrate in the flavor caramel dolce if you're fancy. I got this from Walmart because that's where we do our grocery shopping, and I really liked it. I've recently gotten into cold brew because I started eating keto for the month of May, and cold brew is something that they recommend drinking, which is great because I love coffee and cold brew, it turns out. So I'm really happy with the flavoring of this cold brew, but for whatever reason, it's been sold out for 3 weeks, and I cannot get it anymore at any of the Walmarts in our area. So I'm really disappointed. And I went to Jewel, and they didn't have it there. Not this flavor anyway, and so I'm wondering what's going on with that. But if you are looking for a good flavored cold brew that works with keto, this is it. It's great with your keto points. Highly recommend it. Next, I have 2 Wandering Bear Cold Brew Extra Strong Organic Coffee Vanilla with a splash of coconut milk. These I got from Thrive Market. When I decided in April that I was going to spend May trying the keto diet, I went to Thrive Market and I got their introductory box and their auto ship program to get a couple of discounts off of keto friendly foods because I didn't really know where to start with keto food and stuff like that. And I was looking at cold brews and this one came up and it's really good. It's probably my favorite cold brew of the 3 that I'm going to be talking about. I could drink this whole thing by itself. You can drink this whole container by itself, but I separated it into 2. So I had 4 servings of it instead of just the original 2 servings of it. And it was flavored so nicely. It wasn't bitter. There was no aftertaste. It was good even as a half serving. And I am definitely looking for more large containers of this one. The last cold brew I'm going to talk about is Califia Farms Concentrated Cold Brew. And I swear on the container it used to tell you how to say the name. But I got this as a set from Thrive as like a welcome gift with oat milk. So maybe it was the oat milk that told you how to pronounce the name of it. Anyway, this was a lot. This was really, really strong. And not strong in a good way. I love a good cup of strong coffee, let me tell you. But this coffee was so bitter. I'm trying to be diplomatic in my criticism of the coffee because it is possible that maybe I got a bad batch, but it was very bitter. It tasted almost separated and old. It almost tasted like vinegar. I don't know if you've drank any kind of old coffee, but if you've had coffee that's sat out for a little too long, and I'm talking days long, and I'm not going to talk about how I know. If you've been in that position, you can empathize with me about the flavor of this coffee. I worked my way through it because, as I've mentioned in the video, I will work my way through something that I start. Very rarely do I stop in the middle, but I will push through, and this was a push. Of all of the products that I've talked about, this was probably the hardest push for me, and my husband would not drink it. He took 1 sip of it, and he was like, nope, this is not for me. This does not taste good, and I probably should have took that as a big clue to not drink any further, but I finished it and I'm proud of myself, and I do not recommend that anyone buy this again. I won't be buying it, and I don't think you should buy it either. And those are all of my empties since January. If you've made it this far, congratulations. I really appreciate that you stuck around this long. That's all from me today. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any other videos you'd like to see from me, definitely let me know down below. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I will catch you again very soon in my next video.